Louie C. the Mayor checking in. What is going on, my people? Hey, listen, we made it through another week. I got some positive stuff going on, so it's all love right now. So if you got any questions today on the podcast, we taking all questions. And right about now in a second, y'all going to see some notifications come on. All you got to do is hit it right here for the notifications. And for those of y'all watching worldwide on YouTube, please subscribe to the Louie C. Rock channel. All you got to do is hit this button right here. So let me tell you something, boy. It's going to be on and popping this week. Before we get this thing started, I want to give a shout out to FloridaKeysInjury.com. Lawyers for all accident in the Keys, moped, scooter, or car. If you had any type of accident, please check them local boys out at 302 Southern Street, FloridaKeysInjury.com. And also, if anybody had an unfortunate incident this weekend with fireworks, make sure you hit FloridaKeysInjury.com. They'll take care of you. And also, Dr. Burrows, man, what a video the other day with Dr. Pucci and Dr. Tricks, Advanced Urgent Care Key West Marathon in Key Largo. But I'm about to go all the way in today. It's going to be a lovely show. I'm a person that says this all the time. You got to honor living legends while they live it. Joe Carter is an example. Mr. Carter, how are you doing, sir? How's everything? Just project your voice and talk right into that camera. How you doing, sir?
I am doing great. I can't complain. All things considered, I love this town. I love this world. I'm loving to be here right now.
Okay.
That's forgiven.
Okay. Joe Carter, he's going to tell you a little bit about himself. So, Joe, for people that have no idea about you, people watching worldwide or just meeting you through the podcast for the first time, can you give them a little intro of yourself, how you got down here, and what you're all about, the whole 9 yards?
Well, I'm an airbrush artist by trade. So I was looking for a place to do a year-round gig because I'm originally from the panhandle of Florida, Fort Walton Beach, which is what used to be known as the airbrush mecca back in the day, but it's strictly summer seasonal.
Gotcha.
So I used to go winter places, and I was looking for a place to like I say, drop anchor, hang out, do a year-round gig. You can never settle into any place living like a gypsy. So
nice.
I stumbled on this place in 1983 out of left field.
Wow.
And decided this place would work. I gave it a shot. Had a good lease right down on the corner of Green and Duval Street. That was the saving grace. We had a 6-year option. We had 6 years with a 6-year option on the lease. And that gave me 12 years to be in one place. And
wow.
Back in those days, I don't know, that's probably not even as old. You hadn't probably even been around that old, but
you know, the heydays of the 80s, oh man, if we tell you, we got to kill you, but that was some real serious stuff going on.
Half the town was dead and the other half was dying. And that was when Caroline Street was really pirate land, man. It was a whole different world back then. People have no idea. No idea.
I'm going to go into a couple of things and then we're going to get into meats and potatoes. Joe, let's see if we can get this on the monitor going while I'm doing a couple of things, not a big deal. So let me get to the point right now. Reports of shortage of test kits are 100% false. I'm tired of the foolishness and nonsense that's coming through the social media. So a lot of y'all that are seeing this stuff on social media, I want to definitely get to the meats and potatoes of what's going on. We don't have any type of shortage of test kits. So Advanced Urgent Care, Key West Marathon in Key Largo, you can get tested. There is a long wait, and you have to call ahead of time. So like that, you could go ahead and get an appointment, and then you should be good to go. So that's the number one thing I want to talk about. And then number two, also, I want to talk about Dr. Burrows has also helped a lot of people, his colleagues, get more tests so the whole community could have different places to go. So that man's above and beyond, and he's solid for Key West. So I'm glad to see that. So it's all love right now. Thank you all for coming in the podcast. Make sure you hit subscribe buttons watching on YouTube and notifications right here. Like I said, we're going to get in it to win it today. Number two, I'm not in agreement of shutting down restaurants like Miami and Dade County and Broward County did. I'm 100% against that, and I want to get your opinion on that. What's your opinion on that? Because, you know, a lot of people are saying because Miami shut down and Key West should shut down. I'm 100% against it. I'm going to tell you why. and then you go ahead, and then I'll go from there.
Well, my personal opinion, I think if they're a little on the safe side, you know, little social distancing, at least until we can get a little better handle on this thing. But as far as shutting everybody down, closing everything up, that's like cutting off the gas to this machine down here. When we just paved, we put a nice fresh pavement down on Duval Street, and I drove down on my bicycle, took a leisurely ride, Louie, and I counted 52 stores, and that was over a month ago, that were shuttered.
Yeah.
Never coming back until somebody else comes in to try to roll the dice. And I don't know how many other stores are closed up and shuttered, but there's more happening every day. And the restaurant business, that's key. You know, we've got to be careful with the people, but we can't strangle them off either. So
bottom line, you're not for shutting down the U.S. one.
No, I don't think so. I think if we're careful and people, you know, be responsible, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to be the case with a lot of people. They come down, they don't think about it, they don't want to wear the masks, or they just don't care. But
yeah, you know, I'm definitely with the compliance, and people need to respect the island when they come in. And you know, I've seen a lot of people that are very cooperative, but like in our business, you know, there's always a couple knuckleheads out there, and they got to get dealt with. So to me, the city and for the nation, for most part, unfortunately, is going to have to function with the COVID-19. I mean, the head of the health department said today that, you know, it's looking like we're going to have to live with COVID-19, because I don't think a vaccine going to be out today, tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks from now. Joe, you got some fans coming in. You know these people here?
Oh, yeah, I sure do.
Who's that?
Yeah, Terry. Shout out to Terry. She's one of my favorite bartenders here in town.
Nice. At the Tree Bar.
At the Tree Bar, yeah, Terry. There's Aaron. He's my buddy down by Owens.
Yeah, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. That man's big on the boxing.
Yeah,
but Joe, that's my opinion on shutting down the Keys. I just don't think we're going to be able to do it. Now, having said that, if we hit a major problem with hospitalizations, then I would start considering that. But right now, we're nowhere close to that. And we told you this months ago that more testing, more positive results. So we could hit another record tomorrow, the next day. This is just what it is. You just have to take care of yourself, boost immune systems, wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask, and don't be reckless.
Absolutely. Just got to be careful, got to pay attention. But when this all first started, I mean, I knew that the genie was already out of the bottle. You know, people, give the president a hard time for not shutting down so fast. That man did an amazing job, considering what happened. We would probably be in a worse situation had things gone a different route.
Right.
And he would have listened to some people that were giving him some advice. But then again, that's not here nor now. But we would have been in the same situation regardless. Right. Regardless.
We're in a tough spot. Category 6, I call it. I mean, it's unprecedented. Last time it happened was 1918. Nobody was living, very few people. So I got to tell you, for those of y'all COVID police that continue to spread negativity, going out of your way to put stuff on social media, man, y'all got to stop this. This is not doing anything for the solution. You part of the problem. This stuff has to come to an end. We have to work together as one and be positive, and that's the only way we're going to get through these times. I mean, the nation is in crisis. We're in crisis.
Absolutely. What we've got is a big concern from a lot of people that are fear-driven by the media. They're scaring people to death, and the way they report it, if you look at the graphs and you see they don't report it the way it really should be reported.
Right.
I mean, for instance, some time back, Tampa reported, oh my God, we had a 50% increase. Right. Well, it went from 2 cases per 100,000 people to 3 cases per 100,000 people. So that's a 50% increase. That scares the living crap out of normal people, but it was 1 person extra. So, I mean, the reporting from the media, if they were straightforward and honest, I think this paranoia would be a lot more under control.
You're absolutely correct, Mr. Carter. And also, I have lost a lot of respect for media outlets because when I grew up, basically what happened is that the media reported facts. They're not to interject their own opinions on stuff. Now it's like they have their own opinion on everything. And if they go in one way, like if they're pro candidate one way, that's the way they go. If they're with the other candidate, they go that way. This is a joke. And I got to tell you, watching the news 24/7, all bad news across the board, it's not good. You got to get out and have some happiness in your life because this will drive you crazy also. So I try to watch my Netflix. I try to get inspirational stuff or whatever. And, we have to, think positive, and positive things are happening. So the next question is going to be very critical. And if you have a thought on this or you have an opinion, I'd like to hear it because it's coming, Joe. It's definitely coming. So the next question is, this is the $1 billion question. Do you think we should have Fantasy Fest 2020?
Wow, that's the $1 billion question.
That's a billion.
That's $1 billion question. That's true. That's tough. I mean, right now, if the cases can plateau off and dip, then I think we're probably over the hump. But right now, the way it's looking, it's going to be a little scary. And I think it all depends on how the hospitals are up on the mainland. If their ICUs aren't overwhelmed, then we might move a little more toward normalcy. But if they're overwhelmed up on the mainland, then we might need to err on the side of caution. But
no problem. I think that it's a very tough decision. Obviously, what I want y'all to do is check in with me. Come on in on the podcast. Hit notifications button down here, YouTube channel Louie C Rock. Hit the subscribe button and let me know what your opinions are. So you said the key phrase. Right now, we have to agree. I think we're in agreement. If it's today, we have to make a decision today. Obviously, all bad news across the board based on the information we have today, we have to cancel. So I'm going to give y'all this is the first time I said a statement on Fantasy Fest 2020. I'm going to go on the record right now. And I've been giving this a lot of thought. So I think what should happen is, you being in the entertainment business and planning your events ahead of time and doing your artist work, making sure that you got everything coordinated and setting your schedule, this takes a lot of planning, right? So unfortunately, this outside the box times two. Like somebody had a great quote today, county administrator said, this ain't rocket science, this is more complicated than rocket science, and this is where we're at, right? So here's my opinion, and y'all share your opinion. Please come on in on the podcast. I believe the only way that we're going to be able to have Fantasy Fest 2020 is to make what I call a game time decision 30 days before the event. Okay, so you proceed forward like everything is going on, and then 30 days, like Joe said, we either be to the ceiling, not even reaching the peak is a problem, then everybody would know the answer. Or we might take a better turn, or we might be halfway, we could do some adjustments. But this meeting is set for Thursday, and this is my recommendation for anybody out there that's going to be at this meeting. I already have my private conversations with these people. I believe that I'm come from the school of throwing a Hail Mary, throwing it into the end zone and hope catch. Most of the time they don't catch the ball, but I want to have at least a chance to have it. And you could do the event, because right now, I'll be honest with you, there's not many cancellations for October, and even if it doesn't happen, people still gonna come. That's my opinion.
I think they'll still come. I mean, a lot of people, it may not be an official Fantasy Fest,
right?
But remember a few years back we were canceled by the hurricane.
Right.
We had it in December. We call it Half Fest because we had people in town, but not so many. But
right.
But we'll see what happens. And if it's not any worse than it is now, then I don't think there's any reason to stop it.
What do you think about the Hail Mary plan? I call it 30 days. 30 days, it's very simple. Either yes, you're moving forward, or no. I think this is the only shot we got. Because if they have the meeting Thursday and they want to make a decision Thursday, we know what the decision is going to be. Cancel Fantasy Fest.
Right.
So that's what I'm urging all my people in the TDC, TDA, that basically look at the facts, shoot a Hail Mary, and most likely the odds are that we probably are not going to be able to have it, but we still got that one Hail Mary that we can. You want to take one from Aaron?
Well, what we've got here is a question about the Songwriters Festival coming up in early October. That's another big concern as far as
Let me just say this real quick. Dave, do you see Aaron Skinner on your side over there?
Yep.
Okay, you want to read that to me and Joe, please?
A little tough to read. It's whited out. The next 6 weeks and...
Hold on, because I'm seeing decisions shouldn't be made until September 1st. See where we are over the next 6 weeks and give us 6 to 7 weeks to plan Fantasy Fest and also the new Songwriters Festival dates in early October. I think he's kind of agreeing with the Hail Mary.
That's about right. That makes sense. That makes sense. There's no sense to stop it this soon out because things can be better down the road. And then if it's already canceled, then that gives people a better
So
chance.
my question to y'all, and y'all come in, is should Fantasy Fest happen this year? And are you in agreement with the Hail Mary plan? I'm going to call it the Hail Mary plan. This is the first time I'm talking about it. 30 days out, you make a decision, yes or no, I want to see. Because, sometimes I think something. Obviously, I'm pro Fantasy Fest, but like me and Joe, we're not going to put anybody's health in our functions on anything over entertainment. We just don't get down like that. But like I said, I'm also not running scared. If you run scared, you're pretty much done in life. And I tell people, don't panic. We're in bad straits here, but you have to remain positive. And if you watch the goddamn news, like Joe said, constantly, they will put you in a panic because this takes enormous amount of courage and little pressure bust pipes. This is all kinds of pressure.
Well, what we've got is we've got a certain demographic, some older folks that have a high mortality rate. That's scary, and that scares the living crap out of those older people, and they're dictating a lot of what's going on. People in 50 years on down, they seem to be doing good. The occasional things happen, but it's rarely compared to my age group. I'm in a 3.5%.
Man, I thought you was like 42.
Thank you very much, but that's all right. But
you got a question?
We do.
Go ahead.
From Andy Monterey. What about Lobster Fest?
In August. Joe, I got an answer for that. When exactly? What's the date on August Fest off the top of your head? It's mid-August, right?
I think I heard the other day they canceled it.
Yeah.
Mini season.
Yeah.
I think they canceled it. But now Lobster Fest, I don't know as far as the street fair goes.
Right. So this is what we just said, Hail Mary plan, right? We're pretty much in the 30 days. So this 30 days for the Lobster Fest, unfortunately, 30 days out. You need a plan. Obviously, ain't looking good. As much as we don't want to do it, you have to shut it down. So this is what I'm saying, a perfect example. Great question there, Andy. Anybody else got any questions? If you just came in right now, we're talking about is should Fantasy Fest 2020 be canceled? And we're talking about the Hail Mary plan. If you agree or disagree, we'll go over this again in a little bit. Thank you all for coming in on the podcast. Notifications over here and on the YouTube channel. Subscribe right here on this button. Joe, my next question is, okay, so I see Aaron came in and said Lobster Fest is canceled, so is Brewfest. So that sums it up there. Simple. Okay, Joe, this one is you could relate to this situation here. Can you explain the hardship people are having in the service industry, and how are people surviving out there on these streets?
Ooh, that's tough. A lot of people are leaving town. But just when they thought they were getting back into the swing of things, then we got shut back down again. So to be quite honest, a lot of people are having a hard time. I mean, they're just like sort of treading water.
Yes,
just treading water.
It's definitely tough out there, and I also want you to explain it because people that don't look at other perspectives from other people, and they say black and white, just shut down the keys, and they don't even give it any thought. They don't think about people like you, other people that in the service industry that have been shut down since March 17th, briefly open and shut again. I tell them, okay, well, if you don't want to have dialogue or whatever, how about if we just shut your paycheck down? Let's go ahead. I'll call right now. We'll shut the keys down, and then we'll shut your paycheck down at the same time. See how that feels. Because when you can't eat, and this is what you live on, it's tough. And I understand where we at. I believe we need to be in the middle of the road. You can't be too far to the right, to the left. You can't be on a full panic, and you can't be reckless out there on the streets. What's your opinion?
Well, absolutely. If there's some social distancing and some responsibility by people, then there's no reason to try to not open back up. But you have to have some responsibility from the public. You know, you can't dictate people's lives. That's wrong. I mean, well, this is supposed to be America,
right?
You know,
like I said, we got to meet halfway. You know,
Yeah.
and it's an enormous pressure. I feel bad for my Key West PD, the Monroe County Sheriff, the code enforcement. Do you know 3 people in code enforcement just straight up quit?
No kidding.
3
No,
quit.
no.
You know why? They said they ain't signed up to be no goddamn COVID-19 police. This is tough enough on the job. And one guy was in a position to probably take over the head of code enforcement. He walked in there and said, "I'm tired of this stuff. I wrap it up."
Wow.
And we told people this would happen because, you know, basically it's too much pressure on people, and you know it's inviting a problem. And it's okay now, me and you walk the streets and there's only a couple people, but when it's crowded down there and we got 700-800 people, we're inviting a conflict to happen with the police. We had some conflict this weekend, so
really,
yeah. So you gotta work on the approach, and there's only so much that our people in the police and the code can do. I mean,
right.
so it's crazy.
They don't want to be babysitters, that's for sure. Yeah.
Who's this girl right here? Jenna Gambino checking in. What's up, girl? Are you practicing social distance? Yep. We like Channel 10, WPLG. When we get on some information, we have to state the news. But I don't know about you, but I'm practicing social distance. I think you are too, right?
Pretty much, except for right now.
Yeah. and like I said, this is like Channel 10. You see the people reporting stuff or whatever. They don't have a mask, but guess what? Look, we got one right here. We got the spray over here. We got my man Dave the Outlaw on the production, 99% alcohol. Not to drink. This is for the hands. So all good. Come on in and let me know how you guys feel. Are you able to read a question on that side completely, or do you want me to do it?
It's a little bit weighted out for me, so go ahead and.
Okay, the reason Dade and Broward closed inside dining was due to contact tracing leading back to closed door dining. Okay, and I don't debate that. But what is Miami and what is Dade and Broward? They're basically like New York was. They're hot. It's a hot spot. They far from hitting the peak, so it's definitely a problem. So we opened the keys up. You can't have it both ways. You see what I'm saying? So more people, more tests. It's going to be positive. But just because Miami Dade and Broward and the Palm Beaches do something, that don't mean automatically it works for our community. They have a huge problem down there with hospitalization. We don't.
Well, we have working for us too is we have a lot of open air places where people can be outside,
right?
And that helps. Schooner Wharf, Salute.
That's a good point.
Blue Heaven's not open right now, but there are some open air places where
Fogarty's, Carolines.
No, I had a bunch of Carolines.
Paradise Cafe, the place we just talked about, is outdoors. Yeah, Schooner Wharf. And
Viva.
And I got to tell you, man, our people are suffering. How many people left town, straight up?
Personally, probably about 3 or 4. Personally, yeah.
And when you say the businesses, the count came over there, came out the other day. Guess how many businesses shut down citywide?
Probably well over 100, probably 150. Probably
it was like 160. And still going. And this is people that just turned over to the keys to the landlord, gave up on the electric bill, turned that over to the last tough out there, man.
Well, when you're sitting on the 200 block, which is my neighborhood more or less, and you're
the
sitting
king
there,
of the 200 block.
You look around and you see nothing open except for Shorty's and the Bull and Whistle occasionally on the other end of the block and the pizza place. That's it.
Speaking about the 200 block, the streets say that you have a liking to a gentleman named Mark Rossi. Can you deny or confirm that? Do you like Mark Rossi for mayor?
Yes, I do. I sure do. I like Mark. I like Mark a lot. He's a good man. He's a I've known him a long time. I don't know if everybody knows him, but I was on the corner when he came to town and got the bar. I was there.
So you was there pretty much on the first day, is what you saying?
I was there on the first day, and I remember when he was a young guy, and some of the guys at Sloppy Joe's gave him 6 months.
Really?
Yeah, that was
okay.
Hey, Big Al, and some of you guys,
yeah. And how long that boy been out there now?
Shoosh, 34, 35 years now, 34 years.
He went a little bit over the 6 months.
He beat the 6 month mark.
Good job.
He's a hard working man. He's hands on. He's got a good crew and somebody that's able to surround themselves with a good crew and knows how to be responsible and turn into a business like he's done. He knows how to take care of business, that's for sure.
Let me ask you this. So some people who do not know Mark Rossi at all from Adam, why should they vote for him? If you had a conversation, what would you tell them about Mark?
Well, I think he's a businessman. He understands budgets. He understands finance. He was a sitting commissioner, city commissioner for 3 terms.
Right.
And he was a mayor pro tem.
A lot of people forget. Yeah.
So he's got experience. He knows how the city works. He knows what goes on behind the scenes, and he's very well connected in the community. He can work with people. He's a team builder. He's a good friend of mine, and I've seen that firsthand. So I'm not just saying this from here.
Yeah, you know the man personally.
Yeah.
And I'm for Mark Rossi also, and I really want people to vote. There's a lot of people out there talking big, but they ain't voting big. So get out there and vote. Get registered and get out there, because this is the biggest election of the century, I believe. So it's going to be really, really important that you get out there and support whatever candidate you're going to support. Come on in. Let me know where y'all watching the podcast from. We're still talking about Fantasy Fest. Do you think it should happen or not? If you just came in on the podcast, all love right now on YouTube. Those of y'all watching on the Louie C. Rock YouTube, hit the subscribe button. It's definitely going to be on and popping today. Thank you. All love right now. So my next question, Joe, is what do you say to people who want to do away with spring break?
I think that's about as ridiculous as people want to do away with the poker run or do away with anything else that helps drive this tourist-driven machine down here. What people don't realize is tourism, and that drives this town. And a lot of those kids who come down here on spring break, when they get off into their careers, they'll remember what a time they had down here, or they'll have heard it from their buddies and want to come down here and check it out, because this place is driven by word of mouth. I think our TDC does a wonderful job too, by the way. I know there's some people out there who aren't real happy with them for some reason, which I don't understand. But
well, first of all, like I said, Joe, a lot of people are scared, panicky, and I understand. Believe me, I do. But then people got a job to do, and we have to work together. City with county.
Sure.
TDC, everybody working together. This is a category 6. I used to call it a movie. We're in a movie. We're still not out of the movie. So now I said, yep, we're out of the movie now. Unfortunately, we graduated to Netflix, and we're episode 2 of the Netflix on the category 6 program, because like me and you can leave here 2 hours from now, a whole different thing done came up. It's just second by second is really crazy. And I agree with you. I love people coming down for spring break. I understand that, they might be porns. There might be a lot of people running around. We might be, if you want to call traffic, I really don't think we have any traffic in the Keys. Traffic in the mainland is traffic. This is nonsense or whatever. So I'm fully supportive of spring break. And a lot of people forget that they did spring break before. And a lot of people forget that they came, some people come down here and then that'll be their first experience. They'll come back. And then a lot of people also forget that these kids could become doctors, lawyers, all kinds of stuff, and then say, wow, what a great experience I had for spring break, and come back later at an older age. So I respect everybody, young, older. You got to put respect on tourist names.
Well, this is a tourist destination location, and this place is unique to any other place in the world. There's no place like it. No place like it. And you can, I mean, there's a lot of great places, but this is definitely one of them. And people that come here, there's a reason why they try to stay or they come back. And that's just a given. And fortunately, I've been able to travel a lot and get out there into the real world, so I know how it compares.
Yeah.
You know,
Paradise is, you know, it's very expensive. Some our people working 3 jobs to stay afloat.
Absolutely.
And now that you're traveling, let's get into the traveling. What other festivals have you done in your body painting career and you've been part of? Because I know you get out there a lot.
Well, I used to do a lot. I used to tour with Ozzy Osbourne and the Ozfest tour. I did that for 10 years.
So tell me a little bit about that. That's interesting.
That was pretty wild. You know, all that stuff they talk about rock and roll tours. That's all true.
Yeah.
That's all true. But it was good. We did that. I did 7 out of 10 years over a 10-year period. And
what's your wildest story out there with good old Ozzy?
I can't talk about that stuff. There's too many people still alive.
Yeah.
But,
so that was completely exactly how you see it in the movie. They're not overkilling. That's for real.
No, that's pretty real. There's a lot of those guys are a lot more serious though than you would think. I mean,
Right.
a lot of them are real straight up, hard working, serious guys. But then there's some yahoos out there too. But that's all right. We always had a pretty good time. Me and my crew.
Nice.
But I do Mardi Gras every year up in New Orleans. We're not so sure about that this year as well. And,
Day by day.
Day by day. And then used to do a lot of rock shows, but they don't even have those concerts anymore. Livestock.
Well, a lot of the classic rock groups, a lot of them are doing their tours, and I know that's pretty big. You know, those tours are like priceless. I mean, you can pay whatever to go to the tour. So if you had to put a number of other concerts and stuff you've been part of, you in the thousands.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
And it's a blessing to wake up every day. That's what I said. So
Absolutely.
I mean, I see you in the good spirits. You're out there, doing your thing. I see, you out and about, and you talk to a lot of people, and that's what it's all about. So you're not doing anything reckless. You're just trying to stay above water like everybody else.
Yeah, we all floating along. That's all. That's all good.
Tom Sawyer, thank you for coming in. Also, if you guys just coming in right now, because a lot of people still coming in, we're talking about Fantasy Fest 2020. If you think that Fantasy Fest should be canceled, and we come up with a plan called the Hail Mary plan, 30 days out, I believe the decision should be made either cancel or not now, because if we do it now, the answer is yes, it should be canceled. So let me know what you think if you're out there. And there's a lot of people out here, especially on the YouTube channel, Joe, that want to know where the local treasure at, not the stuff that you see on TripAdvisor and the fancy Bonancy. They want to know where the real locals go. So if you had to pick a couple places that is mandatory for you to come on your vacation down here in the Keys, which place will you send?
It just opened up. It's a new place up on Stock Island, Stock Rock Cafe.
I was there today.
At the end of 5th Street. That's a little hidden gem.
Yeah.
Nice, good, great food, good sandwiches. That's, of course, the hogfish. Everybody, that's already discovered.
See where the man, he didn't start in Key West. That man went to Stock Island.
Well, yeah.
Stock Island, I used to say is the future, but we in it right now. We in the moment. But that Stock Rock on the mahi sandwich I had, that's incredible. The other day, matter of fact, Dave the Outlaw, thank you for the production. This man likes hot dogs. He said, man, what the hell going on over here? He ordered a hot dog over there. He said, man, I can't eat this. I got to eat this in third. So that man, who's the proprietor out there?
That would be Rich Welter.
Yeah, he's been at it for a while. Sunset Water Sports.
Yes.
Good man.
Yeah.
So what other places, like if we get into Key West, what other places you like to hit?
I like Dante's.
Dante's?
It's on the weekends in the daytime, but then over in that same area, the Raw Bar, Harpoon Harry's for breakfast.
Right.
Blue Heaven when they're open on occasion. That's nice. Salute on the beach. That's another place. Richard Hatch, who has Blue Heaven. That's his place. Salute on the beach.
Okay.
They do a real nice job. Real nice job out there.
Jimmy Page eats there.
Yeah, I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
When he's here.
So that is outstanding. And I think a lot of y'all need to try these places, because when you go there once, you'll definitely be back. And it's just a pleasure to be in paradise. Where else can you let's be frank, put what, $3.33 on gas or whatever it is to fill out the scooter and ride top to bottom all day. I mean, we getting away with murder one. I mean, some people say, well, I got to go all the way from Duval Street to Stock Island. I tell them, really, you complaining about going from Duval to Stock Island?
That's a long way, man. That's a real long way.
When you spoil, but in Miami, you go down the street around the corner, even if you're walking, it might be 20 minutes. I mean, it's crazy. So we are blessed down here, and we want to keep everybody safe. Right. And we don't want anybody to get sick, but unfortunately, with the COVID and what's happening, more testing, more positives. That's just the way it's going to be. We haven't hit the peak. I'm still saying, a guesstimate that we're about 55% of hitting the peak. So, Joe, anybody else you want to shout out? This will be the time, because I see a lot of fans came on for you. So this will be the time. Any shout outs you want to give?
Well, just everybody, thanks for tuning in, and if they can see this on down the road, it's going to be in your file, so if they want to rehash it, I'm sure they can catch some
well,
news.
Our shows are always on my YouTube, so subscribe to that channel on the Louie C. Rock, and you can watch all the show. Actually, I think we're on podcast 77, so we started this, during the pandemic, and it's working out. Tomorrow it's going to be on and cracking, because we got a gentleman, you know anything about the Conch Republic?
I've heard about that.
Okay, Dennis Wardlow on the show you how he went against the feds. The feds said, we got to shut you down. Dennis said, I beg to differ. And we had to open that road up once before, and it's a very interesting story. But therefore, comes the point that you got to, stick to what you believe in. You got to fight for your right to party, like the Beastie Boys said.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to having on the show. You know a gentleman named Bill Lay?
I do.
Yeah, he's going to be on the show on Wednesday, and we're going to talk about some serious stuff. So thank you all for watching on the podcast. Dave the Outlaw, man. When you see that man riding with a motorcycle, 9 out of 10, that's Dave the Outlaw doing big things. Thank you for your time. And also make sure, y'all, if you have an accident, God forbid, on a moped, scooter, or car, go to FloridaKeysDenby.com. Them local boys at 302 Southern Street are going to take care of y'all. And advanced urgent care. Listen, you got to call ahead of time, because now the testing is free. So we overload it to the top. Key West Marathon and Key Largo, call ahead of time. Anybody can get tested. There's no requirements for you to get tested. Just long waits, but we don't have a problem with test kits. We load it up. Matter of fact, me and Dr. Burrow's been at this for 2 months. We've been ready to test. And like I say again, as far as I'm concerned, we need to test 80,000 people in the city and the county, and definitely test city and county employees. We should have done this a long time ago. So, Joe, any closing words?
No, just everybody be safe, be careful. Enjoy the keys.
You witness a living legend. Like I said, celebrate people while they living. Joe been at it. He like Hugh Hefner. That man been at it for a long time. He was out there for a long time. He was happy to the day he died, now to the last second. That boy,
I love that man.
Yeah, he basically said, you know what? We're going to go ahead and start a little something. I'm going to make a magazine. We're going to invite some girls over. Then we're going to make a mansion, and then we're from there. God bless that man. Y'all stay out of trouble. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. God bless, and have a good evening. Hallelujah!